In our first reading today, we hear about Azariah, who gives a prayer from the midst of the fire. Now, Azariah, you probably know with his other companions, Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, or as they're probably more commonly known, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And the story is that this story was written not that long before Jesus, like a century or two before Jesus came onto the scene, and it was written about a time that happened centuries before, during the time of the Babylonian exile. Now, Azariah, Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were three guys who were were recruited into the army when they were living in a time of exile, persecution in another land. And so these soldiers, in preparation for, as part of their training, were encouraged to eat meat that was not allowed by the Jewish culture or religion. So these three guys decided that they were going to adhere to their religious convictions and not go along with what everyone else did. As a result, this came to light, and they were ordered to essentially renege on their convictions or be killed. And they decided the latter. And so they were ordered to be killed by being thrown into a red-hot furnace. And it's told that as they were thrown into the furnace, another appeared with them, having the appearance of the Son of Man. So we can imagine that this is sort of foreshadowing Jesus who is with us in the midst of the fire. And this story is one that still captivates hearts. Just a couple years ago, the famous band Hillsong came out with the song, "There's Another in the Fire," if you want a great song that ties back to this very story we hear in our first reading today. So that's the context, that's the picture as we hear Hananiah give this prayer from the midst of the fire. Now, whether this was actually said by him or sort of put into his mouth centuries later, what's important are the words. And we hear that he says, look, we as a people have no prince, we have no political power, we have no prophet, we have no religious leader, and in fact, we have no leader. And then he says, look, we have nothing to give you. As we're in this persecution, we have literally nothing to give you, and nor do we even have a place to give you any praise or worship. We don't even have a place of prayer. But he says, and this is a linchpin, but with contrite and humble heart, let us be received, as though it were an offering of thousands of animals. So let our sacrifice be received in your presence today. It's such a beautiful word to say that we have nothing to give you, God, other than a heart that is contrite and humble. See, that's what the person in our gospel can't do today in this parable of the man who is forgiven this large sum and then goes and tries to get what other people owe him back. He doesn't have that heart that's contrite and humbled, that's sorry and humbled. So today, as we are in the midst of our own fires, our own struggles, it might feel like, I got nothing to give God today. Listen to the words of Azariah and make them your own. God, let me give you a heart that's sorry, that's contrite, and humbled. That you take delight in.